Welcome, 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 my Renegade family, my G.I. Joe friends. Hopefully, we got some Power Ranger and some Transformer guys in here, too. Let's see in the chat what you're here for. Lots of welcomes. Welcome, welcome, welcome. If you are new to watching me stream on Renegade's channel here, I am Daddy Louie. I am a proud member of the Circle of Nerds. I'm happy to be here with you today. Thank you for joining me. If you are a longtime watcher of my Power Ranger streams, welcome back. Also happy to have you here. Although today we are not painting Power Rangers. Today, I have the privilege of showing you some up close looks at upcoming G.I. Joe models for the recently announced G.I. Joe board game. I am going to be painting one of those. So throughout the stream here, I'll be showing you the ones that were sent to me. Minor spoiler alert, these are among the most beautifully sculpted models I have ever seen. I've been painting miniatures for many, many years. Played games of all different shapes and sizes. These are among my favorite sculpted miniatures I have ever seen. So I'm not going to chat too much. I'm going to go straight down to the table. So let's switch my camera here. Here we go. And taking you on a little journey to my table. There we go. So the model that we are going to be painting today is Duke. Of course, the Joes need their leader, Duke. So here is the Duke miniature. Now, these models are the same scale as the Power Ranger models. I just so happen to have Hyperforce Green, which we painted on stream a few Mondays ago. And you can see here that the scale is exactly the same. So compared to the miniatures that we painted at the last con, which were the 28mm Joes for the RPG, you can see the size difference. So here we have this Joe miniature that we painted on stream, and then you've got Duke. So you can see the massive size difference. And like I said, these models are, I mean, I love the Power Ranger models, but these Joe models are just super duper detailed. These are prototype versions. They were either 3D printed or resin sculpted. I'm not 100% sure. But like I said, the details are just super crisp, and it's just crazy. So Duke is who we're going to be painting. I do have a couple more to show you, but we will wait on that while we get started. So one of the reasons that I decided to go with Duke is because it's going to give us a couple of different, I apologize while I adjust the camera here. It's going to give us a couple of different techniques to cover on the stream today. Doing skin, the eyes, hair. Those are all things that we don't necessarily get to do a lot on the Power Ranger stream, just because a lot of the Rangers and stuff have helmets, and the villains are different alien races, so we have different skin colors and stuff like that. Here we get to do human skin, human eyes, human hair. That's super neat. And then we're going to use some basic colors because we're not going with the Channing Tatum Duke from the live action movies. We're going with classic Duke from the 80s cartoon. So we're going to give him the blonde hair, the tan shirt. I was going to go with a drab green for his pants, but his belt and his bandolier and stuff like that are also the same color in the original comics and the original cartoon. So I wanted to mix it up. I'm actually going to paint his pants more of a bluish color just to make the green belt and pouches and stuff pop out. Maybe I'll like it, maybe I won't. We'll see what it's like when we get to that part of the stream. So first things first, we're going to start with his face and his hair. So Duke is a nice dirty blonde color. So we're going to be using this Zamesi Desert. This is a Citadel layer paint. And this is going to be, like I said, for the hair. I'm going to be using a small layer brush for this. I like to use Winsor and Newton brushes, Series 7. You can find these on Amazon. I'm using a number 0. And we're just going to put some, I do have a wet palette off to the side. Highly recommend once you kind of get comfortable painting basic paints with basic paints and stuff like that. If you're not already using it, you do switch over to a wet palette, even if it's a homemade wet palette, and that is just to keep your paints nice and flowing. So we're just gonna go ahead and get started. At first, it's gonna seem like I'm literally just painting his hair yellow, but once we put some shades and stuff in there, um, you'll start to see it darken up. We are just painting it yellow to start with here, but we are going to give it that dirty blonde color with some shades that I have here as well. So I hope that everyone here is enjoying their weekend, enjoying Renegade Con here with us. I've been having a blast sitting in on a bunch of the panels and learning about all the new games and stuff that are coming out. So I really hope that everybody else is having just as much fun as I am. I'm sure you are, because Renegade cons are always a great time. So like I said, I'm just one of the reasons that when I'm painting, one of the things I like to do is start from the inside of the body and work my way outwards. So usually that ends up being hair and skin first, and then starting in the center chest area and then working my way around. So that's what we're going to do here. So like I said, if you are new to seeing me, I do stream here on the Renegade Twitch channel. Usually every other Monday or so, we paint Power Rangers. Hopefully that will continue long into the future, and we'll be adding some Joes in there, as well as hopefully some other games in the future would be cool too. I can't wait to paint more Joes, and who knows, I'd even like to paint some My Little Ponies. We can get a My Little Pony miniatures game, and I can paint some ponies. That would be great. So there's Duke with his bright yellow hair. Like I said, don't worry, we will definitely darken that down. Somebody asked in the chat, what is your favorite paints to use? So I have a huge variety of paints. I have probably one type of paint from every paint maker out there: P3, Vallejo, Citadel, Army Painter, Scale 75. I've really got them all. The I don't really have a favorite. They all have their uses. The one that I tend to use the most is Citadel, and the main reason for that is because it is very readily available where I live. So it's very easy for me to get my hands on, and that's the main reason that I use it. So we're going to be using Cadian Flesh Tone. It again is a Citadel paint. We're going to be using that for his skin. This version of Duke does not have any gloves on, so I'm going to paint his hands, his forearms, because his sleeves are kind of rolled up, as well as his face, and down into kind of his neck area here. He's got like a t-shirt on underneath his button up, so I'm going to get in there. Now, I am definitely not a pro painter. I would consider myself to be somewhere in the intermediate range. There are a lot of advanced skills that still, to this day, I struggle with. So I'm definitely not an advanced painter. But really, my streams, and everybody who's watched me before can attest to this, my streams are all about just improving on basic skills, teaching you basic skills, and just trying to get everyone involved with a paintbrush. You do not have to be a master painter to enjoy painting. I am by no means a master painter, and I love painting. So that's really what we focus on our stream. So don't feel intimidated. Don't feel like you can't do it. You can do it. And it can be very relaxing. It can be very rewarding. That's what we're all about. So, and it really enhances your gaming experience. I tell you, playing with a table full of painted miniatures There's nothing like it, especially when you were the one who did the painting. So that's what I tell everybody. Have you tried the new Army Painter speed paints? I have not. They have not been readily available in our area, and a few of the stores that do carry paints have sold out very quickly. So I wasn't able to get my hands on any yet. I have a friend of mine who got one of the starter sets that comes with multiple colors and stuff. So he says that he likes them. They're different from Citadel's version, which is the contrast paints. And I do like contrast paints quite a bit. So I'm sure that I will like the Army Painter speed paints. I just have not gotten the chance to use them yet. Hopefully soon. Hopefully I'll be able to get my hands on them. Again, just working on his forearms, his hands. His sleeves are rolled up on his shirt, so we want to make sure we get all that skin. Once we finish this skin, we're going to go into our first shade, our first wash. And that's going to be for the skin and the hair, because those are going to be different colors than the rest of the body. And I want to be able to have all of that dry in time. So how long did they have you sitting on that Zordon Dice Tower news? So I've known about the Dice Tower for I guess they messaged me a month and a half, 2 months ago, and asked me if I was interested in painting it, and that it wouldn't be like a streamed paint. It would be like paint on my own, and then it would be revealed at the con. And of course I said, duh, like, of course I'll paint that. But I just finished painting it about 2 weeks ago. So, and then shipped it back out to Renegade for them to reveal it. So I would say total I've known, for a couple months. All right, so that's going to be it for the skin. I do have one minor touch-up I need to do on the hair, so I'm going to switch back over to my yellow. I just want to make sure that, he doesn't have a receding hairline because of my painting. Make sure the hair goes all the way down on the back of the head. Make sure it's got nice color to it, because it is going to drastically get darker here in a minute. Hello, first time around here. Congrats on your stream. Thank you. Question, is there a kind of starter kit that you can find on Amazon? And how do you look out on the internet? How do you look on the internet, the figures? Just figure of painting, or maybe for its material? Thank you. Okay, so on Amazon, there are starter kits, painting starter kits, and I will try and talk and do this at the same time. I'm grabbing 2 shades, one for the flesh and one for the hair. The hair I'm going to be using Cerium Sepia. It's like a dark yellow color. That's what's going to give us that dirty blonde. And then we've got Racklin Flesh Shade, which is going to help us with the skin tone. So on Amazon, there are some starter kits for painting. The one that I highly recommend the most is the Army Painter starter kit. It's going to come with all of your basic colors. Your red, your blues, your greens, white, black, all that stuff. And it also comes with, if I'm not mistaken, it comes with paintbrushes as well. So it's literally kind of an all-in-one kit to get you started. And Army Painter grates are great for beginner and intermediate painters. Even some advanced painters will use Army Painter stuff um, for various projects and stuff like that. So definitely don't sleep on Army Painter just because it's the more budget slash cheaper option. Um, Citadel also does make one. I'm sure other companies do as well, but it's going to be more expensive and it's not going to be as user friendly, which is why I recommend the Army Painter one as a beginning. As far as what I think your question is talking about like reference material and stuff. The thing that I do when I'm going to paint a miniature, um, what I used to do is I would literally, if it's a miniature that's been out for a while, say like the Power Rangers, like the original Power Rangers Heroes of the Grid minis from like the first box set, I would go on YouTube and I would literally type in how to paint dot dot dot, right? And then whatever the miniature is that I was trying to paint. So in this case, Duke, I would go on YouTube. Let's say Duke's been out for a while. There's going to be content creators on YouTube that I've painted, and you're going to find, how to paint Duke. And there are some of those out there for Power Rangers. I know because I've made some. Also, tune in here to the Renegade channel because I do painting streams all the time. And then Renegade turns around and puts them up on YouTube. So if you miss one, then you can go on YouTube later and you can find that past stream and literally paint along with me with the miniatures. I try and make sure that I tell you which paints I'm using and, those on-demand stuff on YouTube, you can look ahead, see which paints I'm using, go get them, and then come back and watch them and follow along. I've had people do that and then message me and show me their stuff, which is super cool. If it's a new character or, I don't want to watch YouTube videos, what I find to be the most helpful, especially with like Power Rangers, and even right now with Duke, is action figures. So like I'll type in, like for tonight's stream, I wanted to get different screenshots of what Duke looks like, right? So I can use that. So I on my screen right now, pulled up next to me, I have action figures of Duke and what Duke looked like in the original cartoon and stuff like that. And I'll just pull up a bunch of videos or a bunch of pictures and leave them up on my computer so that I can reference to get colors and stuff. I know some people don't like doing that. They like to just be creative and come up with their own color schemes, and I can't wait to see, how everybody does that with G.I. Joes. Me personally, I'm I'm not very creative when it comes to making my own color palettes and stuff. So I usually, I call myself a box painter. So like I look at the box and how the figures look on the box, that's how I paint them. So, but that's just, my preference and how I like doing things. All right, so we've got this wash on the skin and on the hair. You can already start to see the details popping up and how much better he looks. They call shades and washes from Citadel the miracle painting juice, and now you can see why. You can literally get some great texture and some great shading with those colors. So now I'm going to switch. I think I'm going to go ahead and start working on the pants while we let those dry. The color that I decided to go with is Dark Reaper. It's kind of like a grayish blue, and that's kind of the effect that I want. So that's what we're going to go on. I think I'm going to switch to a bigger brush maybe, although my big brush is not looking too good. We'll see. We'll see if it can keep a tip. Don't do like me. Make sure that you wash your brushes after each use really well. Get yourself an actual brush cleaner soap, and make sure after each long session, at least, and then every couple short sessions that you're cleaning your brushes. It helps maintain the tips of the brushes a lot longer, and it just gives you you don't have to spend as much money on brushes because you're getting to keep your brushes a lot longer. All right, so let's go into this Dark Reaper here. Oh yeah, I'm liking that color a lot. So I'm going to try and avoid some of these, some of the straps, some of the pouches and stuff like that. Like I said, we're going to do those in that classic drab green color. This is Citadel's Dark Reaper. I'm not sure if I said that or not, but if I did not, I apologize. I feel like I'm talking a lot, but that's probably a good thing, right? So what's everybody's favorite reveal so far of the con? I'm curious to know what everybody's looking forward to the most. He's got these cool like metal shin guards. He's gonna paint those up silver. Strap goes all the way around his thigh. Make sure we avoid that. G.I. Joe RPG Cobra book. Nice. G.I. Joe RPG. Lots of people looking forward to that. The thing that excited me the most, the announcement that got me the most hype, was finding out that the miniatures for this G.I. Joe game, the characters, are cross-compatible with the Power Ranger game, which makes me super excited because A, I love Joes, B, I love Power Rangers, and C, I am hopeful that that means that we could potentially see a Transformers game in the future, which is also cross-compatible. How exciting would that be to have Joes and Rangers and Autobots and everything on one? Can you use both size minis for the game? You can use both minis from the G.I. Joe game and the Power Ranger game, if that's what you're asking. The RPG miniatures and the board game miniatures are two different scale. So this pouch here is part of his pants. That pouch is not. So this pouch, I'm going to paint that Dark Reaper color. The other pouch I'm going to not, because there's no strap here. So I'm going to just assume this is like a cargo pocket on the pants. And oh, those are big old wraps. That might not actually be blue color. I'm going to go ahead and paint it blue, but might end up going over that with like a dark gray or a black in a little bit. Let's see. We're like Bob Ross here. We're very fluid with our colors. And if we don't like something, we just go back over it. And that's okay. Nothing but happy little Joes here. Happy little Joes. I think it's about time for me to show off another model. I don't know what you guys are thinking, but don't let me forget to show all those. I got 4 models here, and I want to show you all of them. They've all been kind of seen in other videos, but you have to really like look. I'm gonna give you a nice close-up, detailed look here. All right, we're we're going to let that blue dry. I'm really liking that color. Like I said, it's like a grayish blue. It's going to work out really well. If I wanted to in the future, I could camo it with like some blacks and some browns and some grays. It looks great. Do you know if there are figures of some video game characters like Street Fighter? I don't know that. Yes, Snake Eyes versus Red Ranger fight. How exciting is that? All right, so I'm going to set Duke aside, let him dry for a minute. I'm going to show another one. Let's see, which one should I show off first? I'm going to show my personal favorite. Oh, man. I kind of have two personal favorites. One of my personal favorites I will show off next, and that is CoverGirl. This miniature is gorgeous. The hair has awesome detail. The weapon that she's holding is insanely detailed. Let's see if I can get. Let me see if I can push this off. Let's see how close of a nice detailed image there that we can see. There we go. So there is CoverGirl. Super nice, super detailed. One of my personal favorites of the models that we've seen so far. I cannot wait to paint her up. It was really like I was trying to decide, like, do I paint Duke? Do I paint CoverGirl? Duke, CoverGirl, Duke, CoverGirl. And I was like, oh man, I got to start with Duke because the Joes need their leader. So I got to start with the leader, but so that's what I decided to do. All right, now we're gonna go into his shirt here. So we need that tan color. For tan, we're gonna use Xandri Dust. It is another Citadel paint. I promise we are going to use at least one other paint company. Like I said earlier, I just have a lot more Citadel paints than I do anything else. If you hear that vibrating in the background, I have a paint mixer on my desk. So that's what, before I put paint onto my palette, I always like to give it a stir. So, all right, so we're going into Xandri Dust here. This is going to be for his khakied shirt. No Chuckles, that's like my favorite Joe. Nice. So Xandri Dust is pretty dark of a tan color. If you wanted to do something lighter, you could do something like a Karak Stone, or there's a couple other ones. Ushabti Bone is one. The reason that I'm going with Xandri Dust is because if I have time, one thing that stinks about these live streams is it's just never enough time for me to put all the detail and love I want into each miniature. So for this, I'm going to use a darker color so that if I do have time to hit it with extra detail and stuff like that, I've got a darker color to work off of. So looks like he's got elbow pads too. I may end up painting those elbow pads a different color, but we'll see. I got a little bit of this tan on his skin. I can try and fix that up when we get back to the skin, but it's not too bad. Xandri Dust is a great color. It works really well if you're painting like skeletons or bones. Like if you wanted to put like some skeletons and bones and stuff on the base, like when Cobra comes out and we can paint Cobra, Cobra Commander, we can put some skulls and stuff around the base just to give it that dramatic feel. And then this would be a great color for that. His collar is really close to the skin there, so I'm just being super careful. Yeah, he definitely has like some elbow pads or something on there. They kind of blend in with the shirt. I may leave them, we'll see. I'll be really careful around the neck, his collar, and here around underneath his arm. I was doing some painting with a friend the other day, and he asked me how I kept control when I was painting small details like that. And I told him it's a lot like firing a rifle. I'm ex-military, so or retired military, I should say, not ex-military. Retired military, and so firing a rifle, you take a couple deep breaths in, and then right before you pull the trigger, hold your breath, and then pull the trigger, and then release your breath. So in this case, when I want to get near these details, I would just take a couple of deep breaths, hold my breath, and then let it out. That's how I do it. Because your breathing actually makes your sway and your wrist and everything really keeps it moving. So by holding your breath for a few seconds to paint those super details, you're kind of giving yourself the opportunity. Now, don't hold your breath till you pass out, please. But you kind of get my idea, right? So here, same thing. You may need 2 coats of your Xandri dust. It doesn't. Mine looks a little splotchy, so I'm going to go over the few parts that are, but for the most part, it's not too bad. All right, now we got that tan shirt on. We got those grayish blue pants. And now we're going to go into the pockets and the bandolier. I want to go with that classic Army drab color, so I'm going to use Army green from Army Painter. Let's see. Checking over at the comments here while I shake up my paint. I have mixed feelings on the crossplay. On one hand, it would be cool to see Joes fighting Zed or Rangers taking down Cobra. On the other hand, it does rob Heroes of the Grid of some of its uniqueness, makes it more cookie cutter like Monopoly Special Edition lists as this or that. Alright, maybe not as cookie cutter as Monopoly, as we are currently only talking about 2 games, but you get my point. It dilutes it as being a little less special. I can see your point. I think it's just you're getting that. I mean, I do like that everything is on its own system. I'm sure there will be game modes that will be unique to each game. And of course, you know, there's always that choice of if you don't want to play it, you don't have to kind of thing. So if you don't want to mix your Joes and your Rangers, then you don't have to. You can play them separately. But I'm sure Renegade will include some kind of uniqueness to, you know, each of the games that you can only experience in that game. And if you want to bring over you know, certain characters to play it, that would be super cool. But I understand what you're saying. I get where you're coming from. Do you still go out and troop anymore? Oh man, I haven't. If you're talking about like costuming and stuff, I haven't done that in a very very long time. I've gained quite the COVID poundage over the last several years. The scout trooper doesn't fit me anymore, but I am actually working. I don't know if you can see it behind me, right there ish. I'm working on a Mandalorian cosplay right now, actually, and so I hope that will get me back into the trooping thing because it's been a long time. So I have not used this Army Painter Green in some time, and my paint is separated real bad. So I may have to switch to a different paint, but we're going to see if we can make it work here. All right, let's see. I'm going to look at my other colors real quick. I'm going to switch over to a Elysian green from Citadel. It's a little bit lighter. It's not as what I would call like that army drab color as um, as the other one, but it's a newer pot, and I just don't like the consistency that that's giving me. Making sure I water down my paints. Just being careful. That's why I'm being quiet. Trying not to get any of this green on his tan shirt. If I do, it's okay. I can fix it, but the less I have to fix later, the more time we've got for other stuff. So that's why I'm being a little quiet at the moment. I do apologize. I might actually end up this pouch here that's on his leg. I might end up painting that brown, like a dark brown color. We'll see. I do need to switch over to, let's see, it looks like his boots next, maybe. Yeah, let's switch over to his boots while we wait for all that to dry. For his boots, I'm going to use German Gray from Vallejo. It is my favorite color in all of painting. If you watch my streams, you know that already. I try and use it in at least somewhere in at least, every model that I paint. I use it as a substitute for black because black, there's no color blacker than black. Just like there's no color whiter than white. So using a slightly less dark color than black itself is going to allow you to shade the color, which makes highlighting later on easier. So that's just how I do it. It's how I've always done it. It's probably how I always will do it. So just bear with me. The only time that I will still use black is if there are two things on the model that I want to be different. So maybe I'll paint one thing German Gray and the other thing black. I have done that before. And for the bases, I like to use just straight black, just again because I want it to be different than the German Gray that I have on the model. Because if you only ever use German Gray for everything, then everything will kind of blend together. So using black sometimes helps you keep things distinctively different. I wish I could do something like this, but my hands shake really bad. You can. There are paints that are super easy to use, and you don't need to have a steady hand in order to do it. You just slop the paint on there, and it gives you at least a good base coat to have it on there. You know what I mean? You might not get the same level of detail, but that's okay. You got to start somewhere. That's how I started. I started just painting with shades and washes. Now you don't even have to do that. Now they have these speed paints and contrast paints, which make it even simpler to get paint on the table. Get your models painted and on the table, I should say. Yeah, those boots look great. Let's see. Do I want to paint the straps? I don't think I do. Mostly because of timing. I want to be able to get to... I do want to paint the blaster, though. Let's go ahead and paint this blaster. I guess I shouldn't call it a blaster. He's a Joe. It's a gun. Let's go ahead and paint his gun. I always think sci-fi, because I'm painting Rangers all the time. So I'm thinking blaster, laser. This is a rifle. I don't know what kind of rifle, but he looks ready to use it. I'm going to switch to a smaller brush as we get closer to his hand and his shirt. I definitely don't want to make any mistakes if possible. So I'm switching to a smaller brush just to get these smaller details, so I'm not as sloppy with how I'm painting. You don't have to be super duper careful here because, especially around the shirt, we haven't put a shade on there yet, so. Oh, that's true. I guess on the cartoon they weren't shooting bullets; they were shooting lasers. I guess it still was a little futuristic, huh? With like their tanks and their vehicles and all that. But I know like the original G.I. Joe dolls from like the 60s and stuff, they had guns and rifles and stuff. The ones that were like World War II Joes. I think it might be time for another reveal. I still have 2 left and I'm running low on time already. We're already more than halfway done with our stream. Let's get all our base colors on, and then we'll switch, or we'll show something else off. So I've got to do let's see, some metal on his shins here for his shin guards. I'm going to use lead belcher for that. Still waiting on the 50 Shades of Grey paint stream. Get a model of an old school Ninja Turtle. That's coming, actually. Yeah, so on a personal note, I am going to be starting to do individual live streams on when I'm not painting on Renegade streams on my Twitch channel. And I'm going to be painting Power Rangers, Joes, when I have my own Joes, and all kinds of other miniatures. But something that people had been asking for a long time was for me to get a Ninja Turtles miniature and to paint it like the old school black and white comics. So to do that, you have to use nothing but blacks and grays and whites and stuff like that. So that stream is hopefully coming soon. So make sure to follow my socials to find out when that's going to happen. Yeah, in one of my future streams here on Renegade, somebody had mentioned just a few minutes ago, you know, I wish I could do that, but my hands aren't steady enough. I'd like to show you some very, very basic, like how you can get paint on the miniature. You don't need a steady hand, you just need a couple of very basic techniques that I can teach you and some specific paint types that allow for uh, like what's the right word? Not allow for mistakes, but they're a little more forgiving than some other paint types. And that's definitely an episode that I can do here on Renegade. I could show with Joe's. I could show with Power Rangers. It's, you know, like I said, everybody starts somewhere. When I first started, um, I really should get the first miniature that I painted and put it right here on my desk so that I can show it off in situations like this and say, look, this is how I started. um, Paint this little button on this pocket. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna keep doing the silver for a minute. I'm gonna put some details here on this rifle. Trust me, if you'd have told me when I first started painting that I would be doing this with you guys here on Renegade, painting GI Joes and Power Rangers and cool stuff like the Zordon, like I would not have believed you. Um, we all start somewhere. Anybody can do it. Okay. One more little detail. We'll throw a wash on there, and then while that dries, we'll do another reveal. So the last primary color I want to use is a color that I'm currently not seeing on my desk. Where is it? There it is. So this is another Vallejo color. This is German camo black brown. So this is a dark, very dark brown. Is that the brown I want to go with? Or do I want to go with a reddish brown? Yeah, we'll go with this one. Since we're doing camo, we'll go with the camo color. It's a very dark brown. On screen, it may even look black. We'll see how it looks. This is a great color for mud. So if you're having to paint mud or something to that effect, this color works great. I'm painting his watch or his wristbands. I assume it's a watch. And I did decide that I am going to paint this, this pouch here on the side, this dark brown color. The green was just a little too conflicting with the blue. I just didn't like the way it looked. So we're going to go with this brown instead. So for the wash on this, we got a couple choices. We could wash the entire thing with a brown wash. We could do half brown, half black. Definitely the shirt and the bandolier we want to do with a brown color. But the pants, the metal, and the boots, we kind of want to do with a black color. So I'm going to try and do two different washes here. So for the black, we're going to use Nuln Oil. And for the brown, we're going to use Agrax Earthshade. So we're going to start with the Agrax Earthshade since that's the... actually, you know what? We'll start with the black. So this is Nuln Oil. It's a shade from Citadel. Shades, when you put them on the model, once there's color, it flows into the crevices and stays away from the raised edges. And what this does is it creates depth between the things that you've painted and gives you texture and stuff like that. Provides shadowing in that, so you don't have to do it on your own. And it's really simple to do. You literally just smear it on, and yeah, that's it. And it can be your final step. You can literally stop once you put that on and let it dry. I mean, you can stop at any point. It's your model. You do what you want. That's not what I meant. I didn't mean, like, do everything that I say, including put the wash on. But it's really the final part of what I would say, like, beginner painting is putting that wash on. Everything after that wash is really starting to go into the intermediate and advanced painting. That's when you start to do like the highlighting and, you know, if you're super advanced, blending and things like that. I am none of those things, so I usually stop at the highlighting step, which I would say is like that intermediate. Because blending is tough. It's a very tough technique to do. This black wash I'm putting on the pants, the boots, and the weapon here. And as you're smearing it on, especially around here, you want to make sure that it doesn't flow into any of the other parts. And you also want to make sure that it does not splash, because I'm like, splashing it on, and it will flick off of your brush and onto other things. So once you're sure that everything is where you want it to be, which I'm pretty sure, not 100% sure, but pretty sure. So I'll go ahead and switch over now to my brown. My brown is going to be Agrax Earthshade. So we've used 4 shades so far, which is not typical for me anyway when I'm painting. I usually tend to use 1, maybe 2, because I tend to just like to put the black wash on everything and then highlight from there. But like I said, one of the reasons I wanted to paint Duke is because it gives us that opportunity to do different things like the skin and all that. And you can see already as I'm putting this on, like it's flowing and it's creating those shades in the ruffles of his shirt. It's going to give real good definition to this belt, as I kind of get it in there in between like each of the pouches and stuff like that. Around the belt, I'm probably going to end up getting a mixture of the black and the brown together where the pants meet, because there is some black still there. I'm okay with that because the black and the brown washes are very, very similar in color. So I'm really fine with that. Hard part's going to be around like the collar and stuff, so bear with me just a moment. I have to kind of bring it a little close to my face just so that I can make sure that I'm not getting it on the skin. One of the struggles that I have as a paint streamer is there are some times where you hit a detail and the only way to see it is to bring the model really close to your face, and that makes it difficult because then the stream can't see it. But if I move down to the model, then you can't hear me because of the microphone. So that's where we're at right now. We're gonna let that dry, and while we let that dry, we're going to go ahead and look at another model. So the next model that we're going to look at is fan favorite ninja, and that is Snake Eyes. So let's get a good look here at Snake Eyes. Now this is not the promo model. If you remember, they showed a second version of Snake Eyes that will come if you pre-order the game. However, this is just the normal version of Snake Eyes that you get here. The pose is great. Really contemplated also painting Snake Eyes since he is, a huge fan favorite. But I figured just painting a lot of black and some silver wouldn't be as exciting to watch on the stream. So decided to go with Duke instead. But you can see just like the details on the model are really, really nice. The blade is nice and straight. Very, very, very cool model. Very cool. One more to show after that. I won't spoil it because it's my favorite model that I got, and super excited to show it off. So just in a few minutes we'll do that. I'm going to switch over to my yellow here, and I'm just going to kind of put a little bit on the top here. Try and give him that military high top look. And then we're going to go into let's see. I've got Dorn Yellow here. It's like a very bright yellow. I'm going to kind of mix it in a little bit with my other yellow, just so that I get a little bit of highlight color for the top of his head here. All right, now we're going to go highlight his skin. We're going to go back to our original color, that Cadian flesh tone. And we're basically just brightening up the spots that got dark from the wash. So the knuckles here, around the gun. I don't want to go too far down the hand because I want certain spots to pop out. Same thing here with the finger. He's pointing out, giving his commands. Go get Cobra. Go get Cobra. Hitting the top of the arm here, where the light would hit it. It's going to be, his skin is going to be brighter there. Same thing around his nose, his forearms, or his forehead, his cheekbones, his jawline, basically all the spots that pop out. We want to make sure we get them with some extra color. We don't want them to be as dark as they were on him originally. Back of the neck. If we wanted to, we could highlight his face even more by going into a shade brighter. But I don't want to do that, so we're going to just stick with this shade and just hit those highlights. All right, what color do we think Duke's eyes are? Is he a blue? Is he a baby blue? We're going to go ahead and paint his eyes now. So I'm going to show you guys how I do eyes. I've showed this on stream before. So if you're not checking those streams out, make sure you do, because I really do show off a lot of this stuff on those streams as well. So we need two colors for this. This is one of those times where black is what we're going to use. I could use blue. Maybe I can. Let's see. Let's see if I've got a dark enough blue. Let's go with Cantor Sky. We'll do that blue. And we need a white. So for white, I use Althuan Gray. It's just the white that I choose to use. It's not pure white, but it works. And I'm going to use Cantor Sky. Normally, Cantor Blue. Normally, I use black for eyeballs, but since it's Duke, we'll go ahead and use this dark blue. You could do lighter blue, but then it's going to look, since we're not doing like full retinas, it would look, slightly strange. As a matter of fact, you know what? I do need some black too, so I'm going to use some black. So the first thing that we're going to do no matter what is we're going to create the shading in his eyes. And to do that, we're going to use black. If you're painting female eyes and you want to give like a deep mascara look, you do this step a little darker than what I'm going to do. But essentially what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put the black where I want his eyes to be. This is just going to create shading in the behind his eyes. And you'll see why I do this in a minute. Okay. So once the black is in the retinas there, see if I can make that a little clearer. In the eye sockets. Let's see the black there. Then I'm going to grab my white. So again, for this, I use Althuan Gray. It is another Citadel paint. It works a little better than just pure white for me. But you could use plain white in this case. And what I want to do in this step is I want to very carefully place the white over top of the black while still showing some of the black on the outside. Give him some teeth too, huh? just noticed that he's like kind of smiling with his teeth, so let's give him some teeth. All right, so now that we've got that black behind the eyes, it gives us that shadowing. Now we're going to take our blue, and like I said, in most cases, this would be black. And the reason that I do black for like all the figures that I paint is just because it shows up really well on the white, right? But we want to make this blue. So this is Cantor blue, and we're just going to put dots where we want the eyes. Now, he looks minorly creepy because his eyes look like super wide. I'm going to try and get a better close-up so you can see. With his teeth. See, he's like, I see you. Ah. So we can fix that. But we need to do those steps first, no matter what. So first, I want to tone the teeth down a little bit. So I'm going to get a little bit more of my flesh tone. And I'm going to try and get as close to the camera as I can for this. And I'm going to... just go over the lips again. So you can already see the teeth are way better. And now his eyeballs look like the dude from Who Framed Roger Rabbit. You know, at the end, Christopher Lloyd's character. So, again, with my flesh tone, I just want to put it underneath his eye and just cut off some of that huge eyeball to make them a little smaller. And doing this while showing you and not getting super close is tough, but give me a second. Judge Doom, yes. Much better. Not nearly as wide-eyed now, see? And all I did was just start making very small lines under and over those things to shrink those down with flesh. So you can still see the black on the outside of like the eye, like the tip of the eyes, but you can't see it anywhere else. So that's what we got there. Let me lighten that up. So now you can see way better. Okay, so we are super low on time. This is when not having an unlimited amount of time hurts. But the next steps that I would do here is I go back to my original color, and I'm going to highlight back up like the pockets on the pants. I'm going to look for the folds in the shirt, and I'm going to highlight those back up too to give them more, just to give them, you know what I mean, more pop, more. Here I'm going to paint those folds like that so you can really see them start to pop up. Tip of the collar. here. This shirt is great for this trick here, because there's so many things to highlight. And then I would go a step further and do another brighter color. So I'd go into Ushabity Bone. Right now I'm using Xandri Dust, but I would go into another highlight after this. But you kind of get the idea of what I'm doing here. I'm just kind of making those things pop out. I'd spend probably another hour just doing that. Go down to the pants, do the same thing. I actually need more paint for the pants because I'm out of paint for the pants. And anything that stands out, basically, that I want to make look better, that's what I'm doing now. I'm just exactly what it sounds like. I'm highlighting, lightening up the stuff that would be brighter in the sun. All right, so that's essentially what I would keep doing. If we had more time, I would finish all this up. I'd maybe get some of that silver, paint some of the buckles and the snaps on the pouches silver, to really just add an extra level of detail to the model, because this model has a ton of detail, and we don't want to lose those details by painting over them. By not painting them. We want to really highlight them. And then I would paint the base, and then you have Duke all set and ready for the battlefield, pointing out, giving his instructions. And I promised you one more model, so here it is. I don't think he needs an introduction. Here is Dr. Mastermind in all of his glory. This is one of the most beautiful models I've ever seen. The cape is just holy moly detailed. He's got the cobras here. Painting this is going to give really nice areas of skin texture and stuff like that. It's just, I can't wait to paint this model. If Renegade lets me do a painting stream on a Monday, I've asked the question. So like one stream I'll do Power Rangers, one stream I'll do G.I. Joes. He'll be next for sure, once we finish up Duke. So Duke is more beautiful than Dane. Oh man, that Dane model is amazing, but I'm gonna have to give it to this guy. It is just super detailed and super fun. I guess I got a thing for models with capes. So thank you all very much for joining me here on this special episode of Daddy Louie's painting stream. You can find me over at Instagram at the real REAL Daddy Louie LOUIE, all one word. That's where I paint a lot of my hobby, or that's why I post a lot of my hobby stuff is over there. Also, like I said, stay tuned. I will be having painting streams, and I'm thinking about offering painting classes and all that good stuff. So lots more coming from me. As always, I thank Renegade for having me on these streams. It is a dream come true for me to be here with you, working for such a great company like Renegade. So, like I said, these models are great. Can't wait for you to have them in your hands. I'm gonna let you go so you can go to your next event. Remember to take care of yourself, take care of others, and remember, play your games. And I'll see you. My next stream is this coming Monday at 6 p.m. Pacific time. So I love you, and I can't wait to see you then. Ready? Mwah. Bye.